My name is Kathy Brooks. I'm going to make a recording here about how to use Tegrity. Tegrity is lecture capture software and website that's just great to use. I do feel a little conspicuous over here in this little window, and I feel like I should be serving a Whoppers or something, so please bear with me as we work through this presentation. So this recording, I'm going to show you about the environment, about what we see here with Tegrity, and I'm going to kind of work through. I'm going to start underneath me and then kind of work around to show you what's possible. Also show you very quickly how to search for content with Tegrity. What this recording is not about. I'm not going to talk about how to do proctor testing with Tegrity, how to create your own student recordings, how to use the live in-class tools that are available for Tegrity, how to use Tegrity in Facebook or even on your cell phone. These are more terrific things you can do, but I'm going to keep it just about the environment that we see around us right now. So, first off, what do you need to watch a recording? Well, if you're already watching this, you're probably doing okay, actually. I'm a PC person myself, and you can see over here on the right side of your screen, I've listed the PC requirements and the Macintosh requirements. Generally, it takes a reasonably new computer with a reasonable amount of memory and nothing too fancy. Of course, the bigger, the better, the faster, the more wonderful it is. I am, like I said, a PC person, and I'm using a computer right now with a pretty reasonable amount of memory to make this recording as well. So one of the things you're going to see right underneath me here is a large white area, and this is an area for bookmarks. You can actually mark spots in the Tegrity recording, so when you come back later you can find them again. That's pretty neat. Now, to make a bookmark, you're going to type something in the big white box down here. Then you're going to choose the kind of bookmark you're making. This is kind of neat. You have three choices. You can mark that it's unclear, and this is where you might make a comment actually that your teacher will see that says, I got lost here when you were talking about something. You can also mark a bookmark that it's an important thing. Perhaps this is where the beginning of the test review begins, and you want to be able to find that later. And you can also just make a comment. So you type it in down here. You're going to then click on the button to choose the type of bookmark, and then lastly you click on Add. Now when you come back, and you're going to be able to see your bookmarks color-coded. They'll be red, yellow, green. If you see blue, those are comments by other students, and that's really cool because you can go in and see their bookmarks if you're allowed to as well. Also, your teacher can see these. So if your teacher goes back and looks at a lecture and finds this one spot where a bunch of people have marked it's unclear, that's a really good thing for your teacher to know, and perhaps they can go back and then clarify that. So that's a nice thing to do. So also you have the bookmark area underneath me here, and underneath that, and then going a bit off here to the right, is a timeline. Now this gets to be kind of important actually. For one thing, you'll see your bookmarks here. I've got a picture of it over here to the right, and you can see the little green balls and the red ball. Those are some of the bookmarks that I added to a lecture to show you what they look like. But I also want you to look at this timeline or the little picture here, and notice there's little vertical bars. Those are bars that separate the various chapters of this presentation. When content shows on the screen for a while, Tegrity marks it as a chapter. So when I have a slide on the screen or a web page or whatever I'm showing that stays there for a while, that's a chapter. And that's an important word to know in Tegrity, a chapter. So you can go to the different chapters within the recording just by clicking in that area, and you'll go to that chapter of this presentation. Now, also right down below me over here, whenever I start up Tegrity, it never starts playing right away. And if I look in that little area in the bottom right corner, it says, bottom left corner, it'll say buffering, and that means it's actually downloading the information Tegrity needs to be started. Then when it has enough information to start, it will be playing. So you might watch that just once. If things aren't working right, look and see perhaps it's buffering information and not quite ready to play yet. To the right of that, so still underneath me, but to the right of where it probably says playing, is like a little clock. And the first number shows how far I am into the presentation, and the next number is how long the presentation. So if you look at this example over here on the right, in this little screenshot I made, I'm 7 seconds into the recording, and it's 1 minute and 42 seconds long. So again, as we continue across down below here, the next little icon shows your network connection status, and that's always nice to see that little green check mark to know that everything is going okay. As we continue on across, down below me still, but more towards the middle of the screen, we have our volume adjustment. You can adjust how loud you're hearing back the recording, but realize your computer itself also has volume controls too. Those may need to be adjusted, or you may have a little knob on your speakers you may need to turn up and down as well. So don't forget that. We're going to continue on to the right of volume. There are a set of 3 buttons, and the middle one is play and pause. In this picture here to the right, you'll see if I click on it, it will pause the recording. Then there'll be an arrow if I want to play the recording. And on either side of play and pause are buttons that allow you to maneuver between the chapters of the recording again. If I click the left one that points this way, it'll jump back to the beginning of the chapter I'm in. Click it again, it jumps to the beginning of the next chapter, and I can bounce back through my recording. Or then the one that points to the right, I can move the other way in my recording as well. So those are pretty handy. So next to those, again on the bottom of the screen, still a little bit more towards the middle, you'll see a slider that lets you speed up or slow down the recording. That's going to become very handy. Perhaps you're listening to a review of something, an integrity recording, and it's kind of going on and on and on. You want to listen to it all, but if I could just speed it up a little bit faster, you can. So that's very handy. You also have the choice of slowing things down a little bit. If you have a teacher who talks really fast and you need a little bit slower, feel free to slow your recording down just a little bit. So as we continue on, over here to the bottom right, there's a lot more buttons. I'm going to talk about each one of these very quickly. There's a whole series of them. The first one lets you display the various chapters, again, within your recording. They'll display on your screen. You see kind of a sample over here to the right. You can click on any one of those and then jump to that part very quickly. The next button is print. Print, you can actually print each chapter of the recording. It'll print a full page for each chapter, so it can use up a lot of paper. Luckily, you do get a print preview, so you can kind of check out what you're about to print. The third button down here in the bottom right is download. If your teacher lets you, you can download the entire integrity recording to the computer in front of you and play it back whenever you want, and you don't have to be connected to the internet then. It's a great feature, but I have to warn you a few things. One, the files are huge. A typical 50-minute recording with just audio, not even a video like I'm doing, a recording of audio and the screen captures is 120 megabytes. Two, you can only play the recording on the computer to which you download it. This is kind of to make sure that students are the ones seeing the recording. Students in the class can get them, they can download them on their computer. So as you download, read the steps, follow along, it'll tell you what to do. And one trick is when it's done downloading, where is the recording? It actually saves it in your documents or your My Documents folder in a new folder called My Integrity Recordings. And you'll see this written over here down at the bottom, Documents, My Integrity Recordings, and that's where you'll find the recordings that you download from Integrity. The next button is for help. You can get online help if you need it. And the third button is a way to help you connect with other people using Integrity. If you're online looking at Integrity recording at the same time someone else is, as you can see in the picture over here to the right, is a little blue person with the number 0 by them. That means right now when I took that picture, there were 0 people besides me in this Integrity classroom looking at it. So if it says 1, you could click on it, get in contact with somebody else who's also watching the same recording. So the video itself, over here to the right is my video that's being shown on the screen. It's a PowerPoint slideshow. If you want to make that area larger, perhaps there's a lot of detail, you can do that. If you go over here to this area where the PowerPoint slideshow is playing and you double click, it'll make it bigger. To make it smaller, you can double click, or sometimes you have to press escape, but that'll make it go back to the regular size again. So that's very handy, I think. Searching, I wanted to talk about this. Searching is really cool inside of Integrity. If there is text on the screen and it stays on the screen at least 20 seconds, it is then searchable. So you can search through text your teacher shows you, whether it's on a PowerPoint slide or a web page or a Word document or whatever. It is searchable. There are 2 ways you can search with Integrity. One, you can search within one single recording. Like this recording you're watching right now of me. Perhaps you wanted to find the part about something. You can search in this one recording. You can also search in all the recordings for a given class. So if you know somewhere they talked about mitosis, you can type that in and find that. So let me show you how you do this. First off, to search in one recording. Right now, this one recording, if you want to search, look over there, far upper right corner, you'll see a white box labeled Search in This Class. And they kind of mean class, meaning this one recording. It's a little confusing. You type what you want to search for, click on the search button. That easy. If you want to search for something with all the recordings for an entire course, you need to back up Integrity a bit and make sure you're seeing the list of all the recordings for this class. So if you see all the recordings listed in the upper right hand corner of that page, and you'll see a screenshot of this, there's another white box where you can type and then click on the search button for what you want to search for. Very useful feature. So lastly, I don't feel quite like I'm working at Burger King and selling Whoppers anymore. I think more I'm dealing with Integrity tacos at this moment. And I hope this has helped you.